Fox defenders making a bit of mess of that. It's done, that's through. Oh, Halifax down 17 minutes gone. And Iain Dunn scored on his debut. Right with a good header, finding Dunn. O'Regan to Dunn. Oh my God, that's great. Well, it's found Dunn.
From Steen and Charlton picks it up, now Barney. Only 2 to aim at, this is Dunn. And it's gone in! It's stayed in!
Whitney. Gotta be. Off the line! Off the line again! Now it's in! Well, the warning signs have been there.
Comes out to Simon Trevitt. Bullock. Phil Robertson. Iain Dunn gets a shot in. And a fantastic goal by Iain Dunn, who's done it once again. 4 minutes from time, and Iain Dunn, who has this lovely habit of scoring in cup ties, has done it again to give Huddersfield Town a 4-1 advantage. Flicked on by Dunn, but no one there, or no one from the town side. Brave header, comes to Dunn. It's there! It's there! Iain Dunn has scored! Huddersfield Town won! Bradford City won! Score in the 84th minute! Iain Dunn works the oracle!
And when the ball twice came back from Ronnie Jepson, it was Dunn who was there to put Huddersfield in front.
And so to that little bit of history at the McAlpine Stadium, where Huddersfield Town became the first club in English football to win a cup tie in an extra-time sudden death playoff. The victims were Lincoln City, the final score 3-2, and the man who will feature in the quiz books, goalscorer Iain Dunn.
His name this season gets his chance here. And Iain Dunn likewise is on for Huddersfield Town in place of Gary Crosby. Dunn immediately goes over to take up the same position that Crosby has been filling. And it is a tactical switch, we are told. And Nick on the touchline, hit straight away in possession is Dunn. And he floats one across here, Boo's in, Jepson's there, Billy's in! A goal, Chris Billy, Huddersfield Town! Thunderous applause around Wembley. What a substitution, because Iain Dunn played his part in it.
Okay, so as usual, this episode is sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing. Sadly, at the moment, Magic Rock is closed due to the coronavirus outbreak, but the Welcome Centre, who are very close to what Magic Rock do, are still open, and if you've got a little bit of spare money hanging around at the minute, they are taking a couple of donations for people who are struggling at the moment. So have a check of the HTSA website and social media, as well as the Cowshed Loyal, and if you can help out, that'd be fantastic, and hopefully we'll come out of this quite soon.
Okay, welcome back to the Iain Dunn interview. This is part 2, and we'll pick it up as Iain starts to talk about the road to Wembley.
Right, and so this 93-94 season, we made this bad start, and then all of a sudden there's a little, maybe an unknown trophy in Huddersfield captures the imagination, and perhaps the first game, I remember there's a penalty shootout where you've scored in a penalty shootout for Huddersfield, and we've seen how good Huddersfield Town have been in cup penalty shootouts in the last few years. But there's one game in particular where perhaps this season, which has started going a way that we didn't want it to, all of a sudden goes on an upward trajectory. And that's a game at Edgeley Park at Stockport where there's a real pinball goal. I'm just wondering what your memory is from Stockport. That game, it was the what did they call it then, Cozzy? It wasn't the LDV, it was the Autoglass Trophy, wasn't it? It was the Autoglass Trophy.
Autoglass Trophy, yeah.
Northern Area semi-final. It's had a load of names. Yeah. Football League Trophy, as they call it now.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that game at Stockport.
Again, I think that season, like you say, in the cup games, I was scoring goals. But that's that night at Stockport, we weren't fancied because it was Stockport were flying high, weren't they? And they had, you remember Kevin Francis, about 10 foot 5.
I can still see him from my house, yeah.
They had a good team, Stockport, then.
Yeah, he was huge. And they were a really good team, Stockport, really good team. But Warnock basically had a plan. If you stopped Francis, you just about stopped Stockport, which is probably true looking back. And he basically had centre-back behind Francis with no intention of actually winning the ball and someone just in front of him with every intention of upsetting him. And so we played with 9 men most of the game because 2 were taken up on Francis. At all parts of the game, they just followed Francis like a ghost. If you'd watch the game back, you'd see it. Yeah. One just in front, one just behind, and he couldn't do anything. Couldn't do anything because he was a good player, but he couldn't do anything.
Front and back.
Yeah, so we negated that, and then it was just a case of trying to break them down. I think, it was the ball was pinballing around. Someone had a shot. Chris Billy had a shot cleared off the line. I think, to be honest, before I actually scored, I think their player had handballed it. We would have got a penalty.
Shoveled it, didn't he?
Yeah, he saved it like a keeper, shoveled it up, and then it's come to me and I've put it away, and the referee made the right decision and let the goal stand. I wouldn't have liked to have lost that one. But I think overall in that game, we actually came out of it full of confidence. I think we deserved to actually win it. We'd got tactics right. The players were on spot, on point. And I think there was a belief that we were going to get to Wembley. It was our time. I think we had Carlisle in the semi-final, wasn't it? Was that the right? We had Carlisle in the semi-final, yeah. But we beat Stockport along the way, and that was a tough game.
Carlisle was the Northern Area final, which is like the semi-final because for anybody that listens that's only seen Town in the top 2 divisions, you would have a Northern and Southern section, and then your Northern Area final was technically a semi-final, wasn't it?
Yeah. We nearly blew it though, Matt. Then we did everything we could to cock it up. I remember that. I was thinking.
Well, we beat them. I think I scored the fourth. We beat them 4-1 at home.
Yeah.
I scored 4-1.
Pitchy, and I've seen this last week. Carlisle had a big following, and they were a chicken that come on the side. Built on a pitch or a hen or something.
You said goat last week. I'm sure you said it was a goat last week.
And it's changing every week, but yeah, we were at Wembley pretty much, and then I remember one of their guys at Carlisle scored an absolute thunderbolt, and
Joyce, wasn't it? Joyce, the fullback.
Away, yeah.
No worries. We were up against it that night at Brunton Park. No doubt about it. It was all going wrong. And I can't exactly remember what happened, but somehow we held out, didn't we?
There was some right crowd trouble at Endy, and I remember just after the game, people in bed at pitch, and we were brutal. And I don't know if you even got off pitch in one piece. I remember we were trying to celebrate, and they were coming on to try and fight, and it were like
they played about 7 or 8 minutes injury time, didn't they?
That's right.
And it were horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Awful.
How did it feel about going to Wembley? It must have been another amazing moment in your career.
Oh man, I mean, played at Gould, a year and a half before then, and then you suddenly, like you say, you beat Carlisle 4-1, and I think everyone thought we're actually going to Wembley. And I mean there's nothing bigger, is there, in football? You're going to play a cup final at Wembley, proper Wembley. But then to have it nearly taken away from you, I remember we were all very exceptionally nervous near the end of that Carlisle game. But yeah, with the realisation that we're playing at Wembley, I think there was a spurt in performances around that time, wasn't there?
I think the big thing with Wembley for me was when Peter Jackson was dropped when he left out.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the team news then, and they were like, that were like a wow. I could not believe what we were hearing that. What did you think, Ian, when you saw the team, or did you know about it a few days before that he wouldn't be involved?
Yeah, Jacko was so influential. I mean, first of all, I loved him. He was a brilliant bloke and a really good footballer, obviously. But again, very similar to this Phil Starbuck scenario, you kind of always felt there was something between him and Warnock, that he just wasn't a Warnock player for whatever reason. But Warnock used him to when he needed him. But you just get the feeling that Wembley trip, everyone knew that was the end of Jacko. It couldn't have been a clearer signal that you won't be playing for me again, and you'll you'll make the decision. I've left you out, but you'll want to go. And I think we all felt that was coming that week before. That week before was brilliant. The build-up to it could have been any cup. It could have been Champions League for me. The build-up in the town in Huddersfield, the paper every day, the TV interviews. It felt like you were playing towards something massive.
How did Jacko take it, Ian? Was he upset or did he?
How do you think he took it?
Well, yeah, not repeatable for a family podcast, then.
No.
To be honest, one of the buzzes for me from that.
He didn't take it well.
From that autographs one, were queuing up for tickets. Daft as it sounds, just the queue around Leeds Road to get tickets were just
I remember. I do remember.
That were just because we'd never been before.
Yeah,
just the buzz in the queue. I mean, people get really uptight in queues now, but the buzz because we'd never been before, and everyone were just happy. Didn't matter how long you were queuing for hours. Nobody cared. You're going to get a ticket for Wembley, and that would just, that's going to see town at Wembley. Little did we know we were going back again a year later. Ridiculous,
scary,
phenomenal stuff.
The week before as well, Neil. I remember. You'll probably remember this game, but we played Bradford City at home the week before, and the scourge of Bradford City popped up again, down to 10 men. Chris Billy sent off with the shoulder on the line. I'm sure we were done over that day, and we really battered them second half. And as supporters, I remember sat there and we're all singing, we're going to Wembley, and they were kind of like, red-faced, a little bit green and red, if you like, and really, really good times. And then they went 1-0 up against us, and I remember thinking, I'd love to win at Wembley, but I don't want to lose this game as well. And then up pops that right wing position again, and a crossing in off your favourite woodwork again.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just again, it was another one of them. You knew as soon as you hit it, it was going in. I think it hit the bottom post, didn't it? Across the face of the goal. Yeah, I mean, me and Bradford, there's something there, isn't there? I don't know what it is, but yeah, that was a real, and it sort of helped ensure that I was going to be playing the week after, being involved as well for the Wembley trip. So.
Ian, what was Wembley like? Was it almost like we've got there, let's just have a good day out, or were you proper 100% wanted to win it?
No. The preparation was brilliant. I mean, the preparation, to be fair, we went down to, what's the famous golf place in Midlands?
Belfry, was it Belfry?
Belfry, yeah. Belfry, that's the one. We went down there for a couple of days as not as a thank you or anything. It was Warnock. In his head, he just wanted you, because the town was buzzing, like you say, it was buzzing, getting everyone excited. I think he thought, I'm going to take the lads away to somewhere where they're on their own and they can bid with themselves and prepare for this game. So we did a good couple of training sessions, had a good couple of beers on one of the nights. This was at the early start of the week, and it was his way of preparing you mentally for the game coming up. He knew the TV cameras were following us. I think we were in a jacuzzi somewhere and cameras are there videoing and all that. He got all that out of the way the first couple of days of that week, and then from then on it was heads on the game. I know we didn't win, but we were up against a good team that day. But no, we went there to try and win. Having said that, I remember the day before you get to walk around the pitch, you get onto the pitch and walk around, and I remember myself looking up and going, this is unbelievable. And we're all the same. Imagine it was me, Boothie, John Dyson, Chris Billy. There was the lads who had come from non-league, all a little bit in awe of Wembley, to be honest, because it is kind of a special place. But
I might be way off mark here, but I got the feeling that going there year before was brilliant for us to go back the year after.
Oh, definitely.
The year after, let's be honest, when it really meant something.
Yeah.
I think the first one, as a fan, I'd have loved to see us win that Autoglass trophy, but to get to see town at Wembley, that were like, this might be the one and only. We're going to milk it for everything it's worth. Yeah. Ridiculous type morning, stop at the service station where there's thousands there. Yeah. That were all about the day. The Bristol Rovers one were about business, wasn't it? That really was serious stuff.
Yeah.
And I think being there the year before, it can only have helped.
Yeah. I mean, one of the players that affected that first game was Bully, because I was sub. By that time I was starting to be sub every other week, and I kind of accepted that because Warnock, he always said I'd be involved, so I took that as well. I'm happy with that, and he always seemed to know when to bring me on, when to use me on, and he'd play me for 3 or 4 games, and I'd be sub again, and in and out. I was an in and out sort of player, but it worked, But I knew I was going to be in the squad for Wembley. That I was over the moon with that. But I think Bully got pulled at half time, didn't he? I think I came on at half time in that Autoglass final because Bully's head had gone. He was going to get sent off. It was too much for him. You know what Bully's like. Once he'd gone, basically that you've lit the touch paper. He's off. So Warnock recognised that, dragged him. I mean, obviously we lost the game overall, but it was a good learning curve. I bet Bully, looking back now, even though at half time he wasn't happy, looking back, it probably helped him for the year after. You know what I mean? To control his emotions, to control himself. That you have to, the way you have to when you're playing in any cup final, but one that's at Wembley that actually meant so much that following year. I'm no doubt that definitely helped us all, that first game.
Ian, and obviously in between that and the season starting the next time, we were leaving Leeds Road for the last time, but you kind of were obviously not kind of a town kind of junior coming through. How did it feel for you? Did you feel kind of part of the emotion as well? Because for some of us, I mean, tears and it was like losing someone in the family, really. It was quite an upsetting time, really. Really weird. Yeah,
massively, because I came to the club and to me, this was like a proper football ground. And the noise it generated, it felt like, and the surface, it was like, it's like what you remember football was all about before modern day football grounds. You know, it was a traditional pitch and surface and an area. But countering that was the excitement as a player. So yeah, it was really sad we were leaving. And I genuinely mean it was, because it held so much dear memories for me, never mind the fans. But to counter that was the excitement of you watching this behemoth of the newest football ground in the country was being built 500 yards away. And we're watching that going up. And I remember thinking, my God, I hope I'm still here when that goes up, because you wanted to be in it. You could see it's going to be special. And it is special. You know, for me, again, it's a special place. Okay, it's not as traditionally special, but it's a new era of special. And at that time, you probably remember it yourselves, but when that ground was going up, I mean, the publicity and the excitement that it generated across the country, maybe even Europe, that this modern stadium was going up in Huddersfield, it was, they were good times as well. You know, it was still good that was happening to Huddersfield Town.
We'll move on to that new season then, Ian. So 94, 95, and the videos, a new beginning, for those that have seen the video. And we started, obviously we lost the first game, Simon Garner, Wickham, we lost 1-0, but probably a good thing to get that out of the way nice and early, to get the pressure off. We made an absolutely electric start to that season. We didn't lose then for another 13 games. Fantastic, top of the league. And then came, forgive me for saying it's like this, but a bit of a flashpoint for you, if you like, was that away game at York City where Paul Barnes and John McCarthy took us to bits, didn't they? The great players that they had.
Were we down to 10 men as well? Didn't Tommy get sent off?
Tom Cowan sent off early doors, for a bit of a
bonfire night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously with bonfire come fireworks, Ian. Do you remember the firework coming in from the away? So for those that don't know, a firework came in and hit towards your face, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't actually hit me. It actually went off as it flew past my head. So I was like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. It was just a deafening sound. There was no sparks or anything. It didn't hit me, but it was just the noise. And I think it must have, as it's gone off, gone right past my ear. And it was deafening. My left ear was deafening. I didn't know what it. Literally, can you imagine from nowhere this bang happening right next to your head? And for about, 2 or 3 seconds, it seemed like an eternity. But for a few seconds, I'm wondering what the hell has just happened. I didn't think bomb or anything like that, but it was just shock of, I have no idea what just happened there. And then I could hear sort of, that in the war films where you hear the din of someone, they can hear everything around them. It's like underwater. It was like that for a few minutes after then. And it's like, my God, what? I have no idea what just happened. And then it'd come from the town fans. Obviously, I'd like to think it wasn't aimed at us, but it was a bit mindless that it happened anyway, because if it had hit one of York players, it'd have been equally as bad. And I'm just lucky it didn't hit me in the face, really.
So that York game was obviously a bit unfortunate, but that season was amazing, really. For me, that's the first promotion season I ever saw as a fan. The ride was amazing. The players, so many characters. You look through the team. You got Tom Cowan, you got Sinnott, Scully, Trevitt, Steve Francis. You can name them all. Bullock, Duxbury. Gary Crosby, Chris Billy, Ronnie Jepson, Andy Booth. I've gone through the entire team there. Kevin Blackwell on the bench. what was it like to play in that team and get on that run? And what sort of memories and stories have you got from that amazing run that took us back to Wembley?
But we shouldn't have gone to Wembley. I think we were the best team in the league that year, but we just got derailed a little bit. Was it Birmingham?
Birmingham won the league,
yeah. And we somehow ended up in playoffs. We've been top dogs for most of the season, if I remember rightly, or certainly within touching distance of
still top on the 8th of April, and then I think we didn't win in the last 5, and we dropped to 5th, which was the lowest we've been since I think the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Yeah,
it was as if we bottled it, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
For the majority of the season, I felt, and I think we all felt, we were the best team, certainly the toughest team to beat. We were a really tough team to beat, and we had Boothie and Ronnie who could score goals from nothing, and I could help a little bit. There was Gary Crosby. We had goals from midfield. Paul Reed, remember Paul Reed? A little, magic left foot on him. In fact, everywhere you looked, there was a good footballer in their own respect. So you had Logie, who, all right, he wasn't a Messi, but he was blooming hard as nails, and he could put a tackle in and he could pass the ball. Then you had Lee Duxbury, he was flair. He could tackle, but he had a bit of flair about him. You had Ronnie, who basically was like Boothie's minder. Just all over the team, there was good footballers and fit and strong footballers. Pat Scully, centre half, brilliant centre half. It was just a very, very good group of players that Warnock had assembled.
Towards the end of that season, that I think Town must have got whiff that something special was happening, so they started recording a lot from sort of the end of the season, the videos. And talk us through the Warnock rants that he had in the dressing room, because there's one from Birmingham City which is probably a bit lesser known, and it's the Shrewsbury Town one, which I think he uses you as a little ragdoll almost, doesn't he, as he's moving you around like a
his model.
Yeah. Just tell us, was that what he was always like, or was that a little bit for the cameras maybe? Or
well, we didn't know. I had no recollection that was being videoed at the time. It was years later when I saw it. I thought, oh yeah, there were cameras following us, but with no recollection of that happening. But they were clearly following us all over the place. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I just didn't take any notice. But yeah, that Shrewsbury game, it should never have been played. That game, I don't know if any of you were there. The pitch was like when I say waterlogged, it was underwater. Should never have been played. And we found ourselves, I think we were 2-0 down at half time, and we'd played dismally.
Tim Clark,
I was on the bench
as well,
yeah. You were, yeah, it was. We've come in at half time, and literally everyone was, he couldn't have been wetter if he'd jumped in the river, sodden. And I had my big boiler suit on, and the next minute I know he's having to go at everyone, deservedly so, because we were playing badly. With the caveat, it shouldn't have been played, but it was as if, don't use that as an excuse, lads. You've got to be better than this. You're the team, blah, 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 blah. And he's dragged me up, hasn't he? And I think that's the video clip where I am literally getting, ragdoll is probably the word. And he was having to go at everyone. And I remember Boothie, that's hilarious. Boothie again, he couldn't have been wetter. And he said to Boothie, for God, in nicer words, for God's sake, go and get a shower. And I think Boothie thought it was coming off. So he starts to take his top off. And Warnock says, what are you doing? I said, well, I don't know, man. Am I coming off? He says, are you heck? No, you're not. Get in the shower. You're shaking like a dog. Warm up. So my memories of Boothie, fully kitted, went into Shrewsbury shower under hot water. He was warming himself up. He didn't want to get a warm shower, but because Warnock had told him to, he did. It was looking back. It was a chastening experience, but it was funny because, like I say, with Warnock, he had proper pops at players at that half time. And by the Monday morning, it had gone. It was wipe the slate clean, we're off again. But that was just Warnock. But his half-time team talks, they weren't often as bad as that. There was profanities, a lot of them, but a lot of it was positive reinforcement, if you like. He was manipulating players positively most of the times I remember. And even that Shrewsbury one, I don't know if you've listened back, not a lot of it makes a great deal of sense. But what he did was, he riled everyone. He got everyone up. Now, I don't think we won the game, but I'd say we're putting a much better second half performance. But he knew we'd probably lost that game. He knew the pitch was bad, everything was against us. What he got was a reaction. And I think, again, going back to how clever he was, he could get players, he'd put arms around the right ones, he'd rollick the other ones. He knew his players. he also knew match situations, and he knew that we probably had a game. He was probably at half time at Shrewsbury. He probably conceded that in his head. I might be talking out, he's never said this, but I look back and think he'd probably give up on that game. He was thinking of the next game. And what he was doing was he was getting all his rollickins out at that half time because that's all he could do, knowing that, hey, I want to see who's going to react here. And the ones that did played in the next game. And I think we probably won the next game. So
that's probably...
Sorry, how big a signings were Lee Duxbury and Lee Sinnott?
Massive.
And I remember at the time,
signings.
I think they were, I think they were in January, and I just remember at the time that was a statement of intent for me because I just felt they...
Was it about 450 grand for two of them?
Yeah.
It was a lot of money in them days. That was a lot of money.
Team Bradford as well.
We signed them both from Bradford on, it was somewhat like Christmas Eve or Boxing Day.
It was.
And they played away at Old first match and we lost because Graham Mitchell went all the way. He went to Bradford at the same time.
That's right. They did. They came in on, but I think it was Boxing Day. The first time we knew about it, and they were straight in the team. And you knew they were good players. Even though we lost that game, you knew straight away Warnock knew what he was doing. He'd got in.
Lee Sinnott was a proper leader, wasn't he?
Who, Lee Sinnott?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sinbad was a real nice bloke as well. Again, a nice bloke. I tell you what, he wasn't recognised. He was a good footballer. He was a good centre half, tough, win everything in the air, but he was really good on the ball as well. For a centre half in them days, he was like he'd fit in now, if you know what I mean. Was that kind of player?
Yeah.
Whereas we'd been used to maybe the likes of Graham Mitchell was a player as well, wasn't he? So Sinnott was a good footballer, and Duxbury again, he could put a foot in, and he was a good footballer. So let's keep going. Sorry.
That's right. So, like we mentioned, the last 5 games of that season were a little bit. It wasn't. I don't think it was like they bottled it. It just seemed like a bit tired, maybe a bit mentally tired. How did Warnock lift you for the playoffs and those Brentford games? I think the first one gets glossed over a little bit. Chris Billy's goal, you struggle to find the footage of that, but you don't struggle to find the footage of the second one and the celebrations and the penalty shootout. I think for everybody that will there, say it's one of the best nights of the. In foot. Neil will probably chime in here with probably one of the best nights of supporting Huddersfield Town. He's just unmuting himself.
I have, yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
Just unreal. And to be honest, nothing compared to that until the second leg at Sheffield Wednesday when we got promoted to the Premier League. Yeah. That Brentford one was just everything about it ridiculous. Because even them did it hard way. And, taking it down to penalties and what have you. And that night at Brentford, you've never heard noise like it. You've never heard noise.
Electric. Absolutely electric. Because the fans were behind... Were the fans behind the goal where the penalties were? Or were they...
Yeah. No, we were in... Where you came out at tunnel, we were in that little two-tiered thing.
That's right.
Paul Reed were in top tier. All players at end came singing to Paul Reed at end.
He was on crutches, wasn't he, Reed?
Yeah, when Bully were doing all handstands and stuff. And that was just ridiculous. And that's one of those that you just will never, ever forget until they are dropped dead. Just unbelievable.
Ian, after that first leg, how did you feel about it? Because I felt we were always up against it there. I thought Brentford did a good job on us in the first leg, and from being on it, I thought maybe a chance maybe had gone, but obviously how long can you be?
No, I'd agree with you. I think the players as well were a little bit taken aback. It was as if we'd gone from being the prominent team of that season to suddenly having a bit of a dip, and then playing Brentford, who was their striker? He was
Nicky Forster and Robert Taylor, and they were both bloody good. They were a great pair.
That's right. And I reckon at Huddersfield, they played well. And I think we all went into that second leg thinking, could be up against it here. These are on form. They're on fire. And they've got them two up front. Nicky Forster, that's right. He was a live wire, wasn't he? Tough.
Very good.
Taylor was a good player as well. But I think Warnock worked his magic again there. He picked a team to go out and basically negate their threats. And it was in for the long haul, wasn't it?
Did you stop down overnight, Ian, or did you travel on what was the preparation like for that Brentford second leg?
Do you know what? I'd be lying if I said I was 100%, but I think we stopped over the night before, trained on the morning, had a chill out in the afternoon, and then went and did business on the night. So it was a nice journey home, I'll tell you.
God, what a game there. Penalties wise, mate, what were your feelings coming into that? Did you think we were going to do it, or were you just thinking, please, no?
I think when it went to penalties, I think we grew in confidence. I think, like I say, going into the game, we may be thinking, blooming heck, could be up against it here. But as the game wore on, and my memories of it aren't great, but I don't think they really looked like like beating us on the night. And I think when it got to penalties, I think I looked around and the players looked confident as hell. Every one of them. I think they all went in, didn't they? No one missed a penalty, did they?
It's almost ironic in a way that the only player to score at Wembley in the penalty shootout the year before was the only one then to miss. Pat Scully missed, didn't he, with Kevin Dearden made the save.
Yeah.
And one of the Brentford fans let the air horn off just as he was about to kick it, didn't he? And you can see it on the video.
Right.
And it
I was thinking he all scored, but no, you're right. Yeah, Pat missed his, didn't he?
Did, and then Denny Mundy,
scored.
Darren Bullock got the win. Denny Mundy and Jamie Bates. The look on Jamie Bates, I think it's Jamie Bates. The look on his face as he
Jamie Bates.
Yeah,
I remember when you watch it, when you see highlights afterwards, and let's be fair, we all watched them God knows how many times, and it was Gerald Sinstat who were doing commentary, famous commentator.
Yeah.
And he, from watching it afterwards, obviously you don't get any of that when you're there on night. You just totally embroiled in whatever, but obviously you watch every clip you possibly can after. And I remember him saying, when Jamie Bates got ball, his longest serving Brentford player, club captain, you're missing, aren't you? You before he's even picked up, you missed him. Don't take it, son. You know, John Terry, Champions League final, he's going to miss it. It's one of those. It's almost scripted for him to make a complete ash. But that, I mean, Bully's penalty would have an awful pen.
Neil, were you
one of the best ones I've ever seen?
Were you in top tier or bottom tier on that night?
Bottom tier.
Yeah,
getting absolutely crushed to bits. It was brilliant.
I just remember that Bullock penalty. You couldn't see hardly anything because you're quite low and legs. I just like prayed and just saw the ball like just through someone's leg and it just hit the net. And everyone just ran back the other way. Do you remember celebrating it? Everyone just like come charging through back towards.
It was mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, it was. Like you say, you'll never forget them. They're the nights that. No matter what level football you play at, you'll never forget them nights.
No,
and I think
as fans, that's what life is as a fan. Those are the moments, that you want. There's that Sheffield Wednesday away, second leg in playoffs.
Yeah,
Chelsea when we stayed up in Premier League.
Yeah.
Those moments in time, you'd never ever trade them for anything else in your life because they are. That's why you watch football. It's something else.
Yeah, they're the moments you go to Shrewsbury and get soaked wet through and you lose.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're the moments that make them worthwhile.
They're completely worthwhile. And seeing us get beat, 6-2 at Scunthorpe and 4-0 at Macclesfield and stuff like that. Then those nights are they're the dream nights, aren't they?
Yeah, can't tell
they are the dream nights.
Wembley coming up. Ian, just a quick one, but Matt, before you come back in. Did you ever think that would be Neil Warnock's last game coming into the playoff final or not?
I had no idea. I don't think anyone did. We knew there was something going on. We knew there was something going on because it was chairman Terry Fisher. And him and Terry were really close, really, a good relationship. And I think you could sense a bit of I might be wrong here. You could sense a bit of there was something upsetting between them. Not handbags. It was, there was that close relationship. Maybe wasn't as close towards the end of that season. I've heard all sorts of stories about why that might be, but it'd just be gossip, to be honest. But no, I never saw Warnock leaving at the end of that season.
He's done well. He's done well to hide it then and guide you through the playoffs, hasn't he? Because I think he must have had that lined up because it was like almost the day after he went to Plymouth. But talk us through Wembley, winning the playoff semi-finals. You get that little break, don't you? I guess as a footballer, you want that Wembley game to come round as fast as humanly possible. There's like a 10 to 14 day wait, isn't there, to go from the playoff semi? How did you kind of cope with that? Did they take you off anywhere? How did Neil Warnock prepare?
Yeah, I wish I could remember because as with all these things, they become a blur because they're that good. You sort of does become a blur. We'll have gone somewhere. It took us somewhere. But I can't remember exactly where it was. It might have been somewhere like Torquay or something. Honestly can't remember. I wish I could. John Dyson's your man, ask him.
Warnock, it'll have been somewhere Devon, Cornwallish one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And it was, right, here's your bit of a break and then back down to business. And the whole build up to the game was ultra professional. Learn what the mistakes you maybe made 12 months ago. Believe in yourselves. And he really made us believe that this was our time. We're the best team in league in our heads. Everything was right. It was just about a full squad of players to pick from. And going to Wembley, the whole experience. We stayed down obviously the night before in a hotel near Wembley. Went out we had a little drink in the hotel bar. Those who wanted a pint could have a pint. Those who wanted a Coke could have a Coke. That was his way. He trusted you not to be stupid. Hardly anyone did. I don't think had pints. They just had a glass of Coke because they knew how big a game it was. But he gave you the option. He treated you like adults, you know. But yeah, that we did the trip around Wembley the day before the game, and you just felt something special was going to happen here. And then, of course, the next day, I'll take. Obviously, when I look back at the game, I think about coming on, and you can hear the song as I'm coming on. We'll go into that later, maybe. But the build up to the game that morning was immense. And then, do you remember Wembley Way? That you're on the coach, and the coach takes you into Wembley. I mean, it was a sea of Huddersfield Town fans. It was you'll never. I'm on the bus looking out at all these fans. It was just, you can't describe it. It was that good, that exciting. And I think we all knew it was like, yeah, we wanted to do it for us, but it really was a sense of, we got to do this today. We've got to do this for them lot. Because it was, when the word droves, they were out there in droves. And this was been 2 hours before kickoff, 3 hours before kickoff. I think we arrived at Wembley, and we'd been told there was a lot there. We'd been told to expect the journey in to take a while. So we set off early, obviously, and it took ages to get actually into the ground, because the whole Wembley Way was just a wash of Huddersfield Town fans. It was immense.
I think the game itself, it showed the character that he put in the side, because obviously we went 1-0 up, stroke of half time, and before you've got to half time, it's 1-1. Yeah. So you've got that massive high, and then sort of kicked in nuts straight away. And to be fair, I don't think anybody argue this. Best player on pitch scored equaliser. Yeah. You know, I mean, Marcus Stewart. We all know about Marcus Stewart. He was. If you look back, he didn't deserve to lose that day, but Town deserved to win.
Did he hit the crossbar? He hit the crossbar.
Yeah, absolute thunderbolt. I also remember him because he wore headband.
Yeah,
headband on, and he was ridiculous that day. But it was a team spirit that won the day that day. We were just better than them as a team, 1-11. Yeah. And obviously, when you came on, I think going back from memory in crowd, then you're coming on, and as a fan, you're thinking, right, this is it now. Something will happen, because you tended to come on, and something happened. Yeah. That's just how it went from your first minute in a Town shirt, to be honest. Yeah.
It's nice
and lo and behold, it happened.
Yeah, it's nice to say that, because as I was going on, Walmart, I think his words to me were, "This is your moment. Go and do something." I think that was literally all he said. "This is your moment. Go and do something."
Yeah, go on, man.
I think he knew, because he used me as a sub, didn't he? To be brutally honest, the way he used me as a footballer worked. You know, whenever there was, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but whenever Town was struggling at home, he'd send me for a warm. If I was on the bench, if I hadn't started, he'd send me for a warm up.
Yeah, perk everybody up.
Yeah, because the fans, you'd suddenly hear everyone singing this song, and it was just the people down the side of the track, and then suddenly the whole stadium were singing the song, just because it was a song to sing, I think. But he knew when to do it. He knew when he needed the crowd to give the rest of the team a lift.
Yeah, what a master.
Yeah, he'd bring us on, and of course by that time I was wound up like a spring, ready to go. So yeah, he just knew what he was doing, and that day at Wembley he did exactly the same. He must have sent me out for about 10 warm-ups in that second half.
How did that feel? I mean, you're coming on in a playoff final, there's 60,000 people in place. It's deafening.
Yeah.
How describe that? You know, it's said to you, Dunny, you're on 2 minutes. Get your tracksuit off. You're on. Yeah. What then? In that moment, what are you thinking then?
I mean, again, it might sound conceited. I felt I was going to do something. I just felt, well, he's told me that this is my moment. I'm going to go and do something. Let's go and do it. I mean, I could never have planned what actually happened, but I just felt something would happen. We weren't going to lose that game.
To be fair, only way to make that better is if Billy crosses it and you're on the end of it.
Yeah, it'd have been. I mean, that would have been a dream. It really would have. But yeah, he said, "Go out there. This is your moment. Do something." Blah blah blah. I remember coming on, and because I'd done my warm up before, and you could. I mean, I don't know how many Town fans were there. Was it 40,000 of the Town fans? And they were singing this song, and of course, I could not wait to get on. So I was probably 110% above my natural brain ability. I was ready to go. And he did it right again. He got the fans singing the song, the players, and everyone knew it was like a build-up to the crescendo of what would be me coming on. And I look back at it when I see it on TV, and you can, as you're watching me walk, get me top off, and then I'm running onto the pitch in real time. You can hear the crowd singing the song, and it's like, I wish it wasn't me telling the story, but you can hear it. You can hear it quietly, can't you? Just quietly.
It's like injecting adrenaline into players and crowd.
Yeah.
That's buzz. There was that natural buzz, and you just felt when you're coming on in that situation, like I've said, Dunny's coming on. Right? Something's going to happen. Something will happen.
It's hard to believe in real time. I can hear them singing, and the ball comes to me, cross, Boothie. To be fair, all you need to do is put the ball in the box for Boothie, and he'd win the header.
Yeah.
And his header back across goal, and Chris Billy scored. I mean, yeah.
I also remember the one thing I remember with Chris Billy getting interviewed afterwards. They said, "How did you feel after he scored, Chris?" He just went squashed.
Everyone jumped on him, didn't they? Literally everybody jumped on him.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some moment. Some moment.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
What were the celebrations like afterwards? Because obviously you have your civil ceremony, don't you? What was the sort of social aspect like after winning at Wembley and getting promoted?
Can't imagine it being very good with Warnock, to be honest.
The night of, we drove back on the bus up to Huddersfield, and we went to Johnny's. You remember the nightclub? A nightclub stroke bar, wasn't it? Johnny's, and he kitted it out just for us upstairs, and then basically all the fans must have known that's where the team were going, and there was thousands outside Johnny's bar or whatever it was, and the windows were open and just singing back and forth. It was electric. And then we went and stayed at there's a hotel out on the Wakefield Road. That's where we were staying the night after the game. If we'd have lost, I think we wouldn't have stayed there. But we all went back, and I don't think we got to bed. I think Scully got his guitar out and started singing Irish Rover. Every time someone was heading for the door, Ronnie would grab him, so he had to get another one. It was it's just immense times.
And then obviously Neil Warnock leaves, the bombshell gets dropped, and in comes Brian Horton. Was he a manager that you got on with? Because he kind of, again, used as more of a sub, weren't you, for that sort of start?
Yeah.
I remember you playing against Blackpool in the cup. I remember you hitting the crossbar from about 35 yards against Blackpool in that cup game.
Yeah.
How was Brian Horton then compared to the others? Because he's someone, a very different kind of manager who dropped down from Man City, and he seemed to have a very different philosophy, one which Cozzy over there wasn't overly fond with, were you? Every now and then with the, it's not about them, it's about us kind of thing that I used to.
Yeah, I just kind of felt that with Warnock, God, it's like the Wagner thing, with no limits, we could do anything with any players, but I felt Brian Horton, he knew best, he'd seen it all, enough fans and maybe even players,
Yeah.
He was almost like a school teacher, and I just couldn't say it to the guy, and from all the excitement and on the journey we were on to meet with, in that first game we got absolutely battered at Oldham, and to me I just walked away thinking, wow, it feels like a different club now.
Yeah.
That Oldham game were really weird, because first game of the season, obviously you're excited, bit of trepidation because Warnock's gone. And I also remember we got absolutely stuffed, didn't we, 3-0, they murdered us. I remember Lee Richardson for them, who came to us eventually, was best player on park that day. And town fans were all laying us because we were passing ball about and getting 4 and 5 and 6 passing moves. I'm thinking, you beat 3-0 here. This is what you're laying for. It's not about that. It's about winning, isn't it?
Well, that's how I remember it. It was, we'd gone from being the pretty team but getting beat to becoming the really ugly team and winning in nice attacking with a good attacking direct football. To, I think when Horton came in, he tried to revert. He'd come from a higher level, hadn't he? And he wanted us to play. He wanted us to play football. He got Lee Makel in. Now, Lee in the right team was a good player, but he was very, very pretty. But there wasn't really much end product. So players like me, who was more direct, was probably never going to have a chance. Even though, so looking back at it, a little bit of regret for me is that I knew I wasn't the best player in the world, but I could run, I could cross, and I would do everything I could for the team. And that's why probably I played for Warnock and Mick Buxton. I always felt with Brian Horton, I wasn't his kind of pretty footballer. One that would pass a 3-yard pass and get it back, and then pass another 3-yard pass and do little triangles and build a move up, which is what we see, all the really good players can all do that. I wasn't that kind of player. I was very, give me the ball, I'll do something really quickly, and then I'll get back into position. I sort of taught what to do, like tactically. If I was told what to do, I could do it. Whereas I do think that when Brian Parton came in, he wanted a totally different style of football to what we'd all got used to. We were all direct, fast, and that's not being belittling us. That we played good football as well. I felt good, direct football. There's nothing wrong with that. He wanted us to build, and build, and it was, to be honest, brutally honest, it was boring. Like you just said there, Neil, you're all laying 5-6 passes. It's only because you haven't seen that in the previous 2 years, but what did it actually achieve? And it didn't really. And then certainly in the early stages, certainly when I was still at the club, we weren't achieving much. We were looking pretty and getting beat, looking pretty, getting beat. And I knew my days were probably numbered under him. That lasted so long is quite amazing, to be honest.
I was a bit like Cosy with Brian Horton. I found it very hard to like him. There was just nothing about him I could like. He's probably a really nice fella, but
yeah, I think essentially, I didn't really know him massively well. He was all right.
Yeah,
I think he'd come from a level of football that I think there was a little bit of the big I am. I've got Huddersfield Town now, and we're going to play like this, and we're going to play. Yeah. And it just didn't work. It was never going to. We didn't have the players to do it,
And if you are going to do that, it's got to be a slow process on it. It's got to be, steady away. Let's just do it 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah,
and build. Get your 2 or 3 core players in. Start building around them, but don't go bang. This is what we're doing. Especially when for the last 18 months it had been so successful. Especially the previous 12 months. Especially if that had been one of the most successful periods in club's history. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So trying to reinvent that overnight were crazy, really.
Yeah, we had a group of players who knew what they were doing and how to do it, and the fans loved it. The fans were behind it. So I think
winning football. Everybody was winning football. You can play however you want, but if you give us a team that's, with Warnock's team, you knew you were going to score 2 or 3 every week.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exciting to go watch. So you're going to get 2 or 3 every week, and that that's that. And it wasn't. I know you're calling it direct, and I get why it's not. It wasn't long ball.
No,
we got the ball. They got the ball forward fast, but it wasn't kick and run and hoof stuff. It were, get it wide, get it into the building, inject and play off them, and it were good. It were good. It were exciting to watch, and it was successful.
One got a really unfair tag about long ball. It wasn't long ball.
Yeah.
It was good attacking direct football.
Yeah,
and I'd 9 times out of 10, I'd rather go and watch that kind of game. I liken it to watching Spanish football.
Yeah,
I don't watch Spanish football. It bores me to death, to tears, literally.
Kaz is about to jump at you there. He's a big fan of Spanish football.
Because he's just jumped out, chat and gone home.
2 good hours, and that's it. We should end it now. Iain,
during my time as a footballer, I couldn't watch Spanish football because it was lovely, but it was just overly tactical. But that's not belittling it. It was clearly good football. Do want my kind of football, and that's what I like.
I'm on the same page as you with it, to be honest.
A Spanish style of football as opposed to an English style.
It's a lot better now, Iain. But Matt, I don't want to talk about this bit because this is when he leaves Huddersfield. You can do it, mate. I'm too upset to even say these words.
I was going to paint it in a positive light because you left Huddersfield, which was sad. The sort of breaking down of that Warnock team was quite sad, to be honest. They all left at different points and different times. But on the plus side, you got to go to Chesterfield, spend a few years there, and you were involved in that Chesterfield team, which got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup and lost to Middlesbrough on the replay, weren't you? Which, was it Jamie Hewitt scoring at I remember him scoring.
We should have been 3-0 up at one point, and Ellery ruled it out, and it was a good yard and a half over the line, and Middlesbrough were done at that point. They were beat. But they didn't get that goal, got disallowed, and you knew Middlesbrough had something else. It was like a switch. Ravanelli and Janino suddenly realised they were going to get beat here. And when I think back to football, they just turned it on. It was as if from nowhere they just became international class footballers and got Middlesbrough right back in that game. I remember looking at Brian Robson. His face was as white as Dulux. He was beat. He knew it, and them two switched it on and they got the 3-3 in the first leg, and then the second leg, I think they battered us in the second leg, 5-0. Was it 3-0? Yeah, 3-0.
How did the move come about then? Because you went to Scunthorpe on loan first. Was it kind of like a softly, slow realization that you probably weren't going to play enough, or was it?
I think without being too much of a sob story, I knew I was never the best player in the world, but like I say, I'll give everything, try my best, and given instructions, I felt I could carry them out at that level. But in that pre-season, I injured myself jumping. Believe it or not, I was actually not bad in the air. Weirdly, for a small lad, I'd get ahead of the defender and win my fair share. But I used to get quite high off the ground, and everyone commented on it. God, you don't have to jump. Like, you can spring. And I remember playing at Guiseley, and it was a pre-season match, and the ground was rock hard. I remember the next morning, I couldn't walk. My left foot, underneath the sole of my foot, it was that bad I couldn't walk. So I was injured. Years down the line, I found out, and it's a mixture of bad luck and yeah, bit of bad luck at my time at Huddersfield Town. This injury came around the same time. Do you remember Dave Wilson was a physio, a little guy?
Yeah.
And he fell ill with cancer. He actually died. He fell ill at that time. So I had no physiotherapy from the moment of that injury. I was. It's not good to admit this from a football club's point of view, but I had no physiotherapy. We had standing physios coming in for them first couple of months, and my foot, I was doing all the wrong things. They was told to keep it moving. Whereas the only fix for it was to do nothing. Well, I was working on it, trying to train, then breaking down, trying to play, then breaking down. I'd get to a spell where I could run again. I think they sent me on loan to Scunthorpe to get match fitness, and which was, in the right spirit of things. And within 2 games, I couldn't run again. And it's something called plantar fasciitis. It's a well-known injury now in football. And I basically had all the wrong treatment. So when I look back a little bit, tinged with regret, in that I was just unlucky. I didn't have an expert telling me what your injury was. Now, I'm not saying I would have had longer at Town had I kept myself fit, but I think I probably would have had a better chance of getting into the team had I been 100% fit. And this injury really knocked me for 6, really. And I never really got back in. I had a couple of sub appearances, and I kind of knew my days were numbered. I knew I wasn't really sort of a Brian Horton style player. And then, I got it was kind of heartbreaking because I'd have stayed there the rest of my life, to be honest. I loved the place. I'd have stayed there I'd have been happy in the reserves. It felt like home to me. But yeah, then I got the call saying, listen, we feel it'd be better for you. Go into it, gonna. We feel it'd be better for you in your career. You're 27. Get yourself out and get some games. And I'm like, I don't really want to go here. But they put me on the transfer list. So I had no choice, really. And within a week, played a reserve game. I remember staying at John Dyson's house. And then on Thursday morning, got the phone call, early doors, come in quickly, someone's come in for you. But they need to know quickly for this rule, the FA Cup rule, because Chesterfield were playing Wrexham within the 7 days. And Huddersfield had agreed the deal with Chesterfield. Basically, that Thursday morning said, listen, offer's been accepted. We're unlikely to offer you a new contract. So this was in the February, I think. My contract was up in the June. And Brian Horton had said, listen, you're unlikely to get a new contract here. Go and get yourself a good deal elsewhere. So I had no choice. There was, I couldn't. I say at Huddersfield that I've got there in June, I'd have been amongst hundreds of others out of contract. So I went down to Chesterfield, spoke to them, and I knew it wasn't right. But I won't go into it, but I knew it wasn't right at the time. But it was a 2.5-year contract. And to be honest, at 27, out of contract in 3 months' time, it felt like I had no real option. I signed for Chesterfield. The big thing was it was FA Cup, and I was a little bit excited about that because it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? I could have been going to the bottom of Division 3 team, whatever it was. They had an FA Cup quarter-final and they're on a run. So I kind of thought, hey, hang on, FA Cup, me. You just never know. And of course, so I signed for them and I came on in the quarter-final against Wrexham. But I always felt at Chesterfield I was signed to bulk up the squad. I never felt from day one, really, that I was there to go into the team. And I should have seen that coming, really. But I think I got a bit deluded with the whole romance of the cup thing. It was mentioned to me in my interviews, hey, you've got this cup record, do you think you can bring it to Chesterfield? Or, yeah, sure I can. And sure enough, we won the quarterfinal. The semi-final, it was a personal disaster for me because I thought I was going to be in the squad. And I call it the keepers union, came back to bite me on the bum because without going into it too much, the bonuses for playing, for being in that FA Cup semi-final squad were huge. Now, I was never motivated by money, but the fact you could play an FA Cup semi-final and the first team squad were also going to get these huge bonuses obviously played on some people's minds because the day before, our goalkeeper went down injured, or he'd never been injured all season. And my mate actually lived in York. Andy Leaning was the reserve goalkeeper of Chesterfield at that time. And I always thought the first team keeper's gone down injured there is because we weren't going to have a goalkeeper on the bench. And of course, the goalkeeper got put on the bench and I ended up not in the squad. So I missed out on, I had paid to play, but I missed out on the chance of playing the FA Cup semi-final. I was in the squad, but not in the match day squad. So that was a bit sad, really. But there you go.
Well, on a cheery note, you mentioned several times there that you're not the best player, etc. Which, sorry to disagree with you, but I thought you were a good player. And in 2004, all Huddersfield Town fans voted you. Well, not all, but Huddersfield Town fans voted you as the all-time favourite cult hero of Huddersfield Town, and that includes people like Frank Worthington, Boothie, Jepson, Darren Bullock, etc. So the Huddersfield Town and their fans obviously thought a lot about you as a player, as a person. So that accolade, meant a lot to us to give to you. But just hope that it was a nice way to sort of indent your or bookend your career. Huddersfield.
I mean, when I sort of like effectively say I wasn't the best player, what I mean was I was never going to be sold for £1 million. I knew that. But thank you very much for saying that. And I think I knew it at the time. I knew the fans liked how I played football. They knew that I was honest, I tried my best, and I was happy with that, believe you me. And just having the fan support, and I won't just say it now, was massive for me, to be honest. And that's why I say I'd have stayed there to play in the reserves because I knew I was appreciated by Huddersfield Town fans. Perversely, I think I was appreciated Chesterfield fans. I always got on with them as well, and York City fans always got on well because I think football fans, they know which players are trying the best. Now, when I say a player, I was never going to go
watching players that care. And as a fan who's paying your hard-earned every week.
Yeah.
If you rock up, watching somebody like you who's come from sort of non-league into this, it was still a crazy football world in early 90s, let's be honest.
Yeah.
To come from non-league into that and give what you give as a player to us, you've given us some of the best memories we'll ever have as a football fan. And
likewise.
That can't ever be taken away. And
it works both ways.
So it shouldn't be. So, Brian Horton's got a lot to feel bad about. I never liked him.
Yes, he has. I think real football fans know which players. I can always forgive someone if they make a mistake, but they've tried the absolute best to do their best for the team. Whereas some players, you just get the feeling football fans know the ones. They know the ones that are show ponying or they'll shy away from the real.
We've got a club riddled with them at minute, if we're being brutally honest. And there's quite a few of them have been bombed out for exactly that reason. And there's no affinity there with people like that. There's no affinity with somebody who's cost 13 million quid and just don't care. No. But there's affinity with somebody who's cost a bag of balls and a track. So who plays like they give a shit every week. That's the difference. Yeah. And that's why you were successful at Huddersfield Town and why you'll always be remembered very, very highly and very, very fondly by, I'd say all Town fans, not just some, all Town fans, without a doubt.
One thing I forgot to mention, it was on my list of important things to talk about as well, is that not only are you the first ever footballer to appear on this, first ever Huddersfield Town footballer to ever appear on this podcast, past or present, you also have a bigger accolade, which is that you were the first English footballer or the first person in the English game to score a golden goal against Lincoln City in
I thought I'd missed this when I went outside.
No, I had it teed up and then it got skimmed. But that must be a huge thing. And how did that feel? And also one thing I always wanted to ask is, how does it feel when you're either new to a club or you come on and you've got, Wembley, you've got 27,000 people singing. I think there was 28,000 Huddersfield fans or so there or something like that. And they're all singing, "He's got no hair, but we don't care, Iain Dunn." How does that feel, when
brilliant.
When these people are sort of singing your name? And I think they used to sing the old Iain Dunn, 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 the Iain Wright chant, didn't they, at first? And then "He's got no hair" thing came along. Yeah. And did you enjoy that chant? I know we enjoyed it because we stole it for Aaron Moy later on, didn't we? But how did you enjoy that? Was that
I think
how did it make you feel? Really, is what I'm going with.
it's hard. It's hard to describe it, but it gave me such a lift from, like I say, coming from non-league and thinking I have probably not got a career in football to suddenly hitting the sweet spot and everything. I knew I was at a big club. I knew I was going to do kind of all right with them. Everything seemed to work. But then when you've also got the fans on your side as well, and when they started singing this song, it's I look back and I think, even as a sub, I used to enjoy going for a warm-up because you'd get, like I say, Warnock knew what he was doing because a few of them would start singing it, and then suddenly it felt like, to me, a crescendo of people singing my name. And
I remember when it first got sung for Aaron Moy, and I'm almost a bit annoyed. You can't have that. You can't sing that. No, we don't. You can't share that. You know, song that you cannot share that.
Yeah. No, it was immense. I think it's lovely to hear what you're saying about me as a fan of a footballer. I think it does work both ways, especially for me and Huddersfield Town fans. That link, communication, camaraderie, whatever it is, affinity. It was massive for me, massive.
You've been involved in a team that made us cry for right reasons.
Yeah.
And that's, as a football fan, to a player, that's the biggest accolade you can give a player. That we've all cried plenty of times at some bloody awful stuff, but to cry at the good stuff and for you to be a massive part of that's football, isn't it? That's why you pay your money and go through turnstiles to see people like you.
Even just sat here and you guys remembering me, Huddersfield, the team, what you're saying to me is, trust me, it's appreciated. It's it reminds us of a life that was amazing.
Ian, absolute legend. Thank you.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you tonight.
I'm aware that we're obviously taking you away from your other half. Would you be up for a 1 minute quick lightning round of questions? It's nothing amazing, no quiz or anything, not quiz master like you've got.
You look terrible here.
There were just little points that I couldn't fit into the whole thing. But
1 second.
Yeah, sure.
You know what's coming?
Is that the golden ball? The golden ball.
Look at that belter.
Ian, just put it out here. We'll take a picture of it. I'm going to take
a screen print.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Just talk, Ian, and then it'll come up with your face then.
Yeah. Well, this is the golden goal. This is the golden ball I got on the, for scoring the golden goal. It's not surviving on its plaque. He's dusting, but hey. So I thought I'd share that with you.
That's brilliant.
I'm obviously as proud as punch of that. And then, of course, I don't know if you can see this, but
it's
that's the real deal.
The medal from the Ensley League champions. Yeah, amazing.
Love it.
That's huge. I don't know if that's actually holding up close, but it looks huge.
It is a big one, to be fair.
The Ensley Insurance, I used to remember the theme tunes as well from the highlights and stuff they used to put on. And I always remember the phone number remember the Ensley Insurance adverts, and it used to have like 282820 for the owl on the advert and stuff. Silly things that you remember, innit, when you're a kid.
The silly things that you'll remember.
Oh, I remember anything silly, mate. I'm all for silly stuff. So, it's not really a lightning round, it's just questions I couldn't fit in, but best character that you've played with at Huddersfield?
As in funny?
Could be anything, could be best character for any reason.
Chevitt. Herman Chevitt used to crack everyone up. Yeah, the humour. He was just funny. He looks funny for starters, doesn't he? He's actually funny as well. So
he was a cracking fullback with Simon.
What good.
Eggs and sherry, yay or nay?
Yay.
Do you like that? For those that listen that won't remember that, I think Neil Warnock used to make players drink eggs and sherry, didn't he?
And you know what? However rank it is to drink that, that's just part of a good memory in it. So that's going to be a yay in it.
I remember that on the.
You should have seen. Chris Billy's face when he had to do it. It was, it
was on the video.
It was all over the shop. We hated it. It was hilarious.
Best manager?
Oh, Warnock. I want to say Ian Ross because he signed me, but Warnock was the best manager.
Favourite game?
The obvious one would be the playoff final for everything we've discussed tonight. However, I think the debut against Bradford. Never forget that.
Yeah.
Favourite ground to visit?
To visit or to play at?
Play at. We'll go with play at.
Highbury.
And then we'll go visit.
Highbury. Yeah, that was immense.
And then visit as a summariser or fan?
As a fan, Liverpool.
Best opponent you've played against?
Lee Dixon. I tell you what, just go on to Lee Dixon. I mean, he was a renowned player, wasn't he? But it's when you play against these boys, you realise just how good they are. He was strong, fast, again. You know, again, not one of them would move for 50 million, but what a player.
Yeah.
Good pundit as well. I like him on IT.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I've put here pre-season tours. I was thinking you must have some stories from sort of the tours to Ireland. I think you used to play Shelbourne in every season at Huddersfield at one point, and others. I was thinking you must have a few stories from that. That's not exactly a quick fire one, is it? But
I can give you a quick one that just stands out. Where we were told not to go out with one night we went out with in Dublin, and I won't name names because that'd be rotten. But a few of us did go out, and to be brutally honest, I think it was expected by the management team.
Bullock,
maybe, I don't know. And we were not too late actually. We weren't that stupid. We weren't that irresponsible, but we went out, had a couple, and we were. One of us had a great idea to jump on one of these horse-drawn tours around the city centre. So we've gone on one of them, thinking, no one's going to see us. And the manager was in another one, literally crossed paths with us. We are there like kings and princes in this, looking around Dublin, and the manager's come right past, and you could see him looking at us going, "You're in trouble tomorrow, boys. We're running you lot tomorrow." Yeah, one of them, you maybe had to be there, but you can picture the scene of 4 lads who thought they got away with everything, literally within 3 foot of the management team that told you not to go out. Class. On a horse-drawn carriage. Hilarious. It was funny at the time.
The last one I've got is your all-time Huddersfield 11. It's not really a question, but all-time Huddersfield 11. Who would you pick?
Oh, I just picked players that I played with. Because
that's it. The ones that you played with, for sure.
Oh God, Franny in goal. Left back would be Tom Cowan. Centre back would be probably Jacko. I like Jacko. And then it's Scully or Sinnott, probably Pat Scully. Him and Jacko would make a good partnership. Right back would be Berger, Trevitt. Left wing, because he was brilliant for me, Gary Barnett. Me would play right wing.
You have to pick after.
Yeah. Boothie and Ronnie up front. And centre midfield would probably be, that's a tough one. Probably be Kieran O'Regan. And I'm going to miss someone obvious out here, but I think Phil Robinson. I liked Phil Robinson. Just because I liked him.
I said to Cosy beforehand, I've been watching some old footage and I didn't like Phil Robinson when I was a kid, and I've watched him back and I thought, he's not actually a bad footballer, is he?
He was good. He was.
We'll sub him out and put Bullock in there for you. Just probably can.
You know what? I knew I'd miss someone obvious. Bully. Got to be Bully. Yeah, Bully. Definitely Bully. 100%. Him and Kieran O'Regan would have been a small, but a right handful.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Got goals and all.
Bully. Go for him and Bully. So that's a good team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playoff winners, I reckon. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's it for my lightning round. Have you guys got anything that you'd like to jump in with, Cosy, Neil?
Just thanks, mate. I always knew going back in memory lane. It's honestly, you forget about its isolation and the strange times we live in. But honestly, they were such amazing times, and I think it depends where you were with your HTC journey. But for me, I was just discovering alcohol and job and women, and then we get promoted, and life just felt. It would is to go back in time, mate. But yeah, just thanks for everything, Ian. And
absolutely. We on this podcast, we've had the privilege of talking to the previous chairman, the current chairman, radio pundits, famous fans, etc. But I've got to be honest, this is right up there for me.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I'll be honest, Dunny, you're only 4 years older than me. But to say, it's a bit odd to say for somebody who's probably my age-ish that you're one of the players who just excite me. How you played, how you started. It's a proper football story for me. Just a proper football story, and it's been an absolute privilege to talk to you tonight. And thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
I didn't want to go all football fanboy or anything on you, but there's always that thing where they say you should never meet your childhood heroes, are there? But I think you've completely blown that out of the water. It's been, you as nice a bloke as what you were, hard working on the football pitch. It's been great to speak to you tonight, Ian. And hopefully you won't be a stranger to what we do going forward. You're always welcome to come and join us. And big thanks for joining myself and Cosy and Neil before on the Love Sport Radio on Friday night as well. When that gets,
that's a pleasure. No, thank you very much. I've appreciated everything tonight. It's been. It's also been great for me to things that you maybe don't ordinarily think about, and you've brought up memories that sparked little things in my head as well. So it's been good. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much to Mrs. Dunn as well for allowing us a little bit of extra time as well at the end.
I think my missus are glad to get to do it for a couple of hours.
It's about 10 hours, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Iain. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Dunny.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Legend.
See you later.
So you go on home and you sit in your room and you think, now when and how am I ever going to get away from this? And now you know.
Come let your hair down. Tonight we will walk these streets. I used to walk them alone. Now we will walk together.
Come let my hair down. Tonight I will walk with you. I used to say you alone. Now we will walk together.
The moon holds out its charms. These streets hold hidden glamour. The shadows hide our secrets and our shame. Come let your hair down. Tonight we will take control.